Right now on 9 News at 6, we have learned the name of the man who opened fire on 2 CSP troopers earlier this week.
And as Colorado continues to deal with a historic drought, the city of Denver is implementing more water restrictions. We're going to let you know about the new rules coming this fall. Good Thursday morning. Thanks for joining us here at 6 o'clock. I'm Drew Carney.
And I'm Corey Rose here with Katie LaSalle. Beautiful sunrise this morning. Wow. Sounds like less of a chance of storms today.
Not nearly as widespread of coverage. So we got reports of hail down near Castle Pines, heavy rain in Denver. Seeing some reports coming in this morning nearing an inch in just a short amount of time.
Like less than an hour?
In 2 hours time. So yesterday we saw that storm coverage. Today, not quite as much.
Okay.
Yeah. But we do have storms that we'll be talking about for this afternoon. It's going to be drier though, statewide, and we have a lower risk of any severe weather, thankfully, for this Thursday. And yes, it is a beautiful start to the morning. We're under a mostly clear sky. You can see it is a touch hazy though. 63 degrees, winds are calm, humidity levels falling. Kiddos at the bus stop, it's definitely going to be a mild morning. We're hovering now in temperatures in the 60s, low to mid 60s out the door the next couple of hours with daytime highs warm once again. Increasing cloud coverage by the afternoon, upper 80s near 90 degrees. And then for today, we do have clouds building and just fewer storm chances, but upper 50s, low 60s currently. An air quality alert in place because of the ozone action day. It's healthy for sensitive groups. No weather concerns at a Denver International Airport this morning. Mostly clear skies and a high of 90 expected by this afternoon. That marginal risk encompassing the entirety of the I-25 corridor of a gusty thunderstorm. These will be very widely scattered. I'll take you through Futurecast momentarily, but still we'll keep our eyes to the sky, let you know of any risks that we do see associated, mainly be brief rain, very gusty winds. And then for the next couple of days, we're warming up and drying out. Details on your weekend forecast coming up in just a few.
And keeping an eye right now for your Thursday morning, 6:01. Right now, taking a live look from Highway 6 between Tunnel 1 and Tunnel 2, so just west of Golden. We're getting reports that there's a crash in this area, but I'm also noticing that there's construction crews there on scene. You can kind of see the construction equipment, and there is someone right now standing in the middle of the intersection, kind of with a stop sign, letting people know to either slow down or stop, and that's why we're seeing some delays at the moment. Right now, no visuals of that crash, but we are making some calls to the Jefferson County Sheriff's Office because that is the crew that I noticed that was there on scene. So I want to switch things over to our main maps and get to your drive times. Also talk about a crash out in Aurora. This is happening along Colfax and 225. Right now we're seeing impacts along Colfax Avenue, not necessarily along I-225 from if you're heading southbound or if you're heading northbound to I-70. Other parts of the metro, you have the green light for anyone leaving the Commerce City area, only 10 minutes, and then stop and go traffic along 270 between York and Vasquez, so a 7-minute drive, slowing down to 48 miles per hour.
Brianna, thank you. Right now, officials in Denver are looking for a driver they say was involved in a serious hit-and-run crash earlier this week. Police say this car headed south on 22nd Street early Sunday morning and hit a person in a crosswalk on Blake Street and then left the scene. The person who was hit was taken to the hospital with serious injuries. The car is described as a red Lexus sedan with minor damage to the front passenger side. Anyone with information is asked to call Metro Denver Crime Stoppers.
New this morning, the Teller County Sheriff's Office has identified the man who shot at 2 Colorado State troopers earlier this week before he was killed in a shootout with deputies. Officials identified him as 51-year-old Robert Rudolph Richards Jr. of Loveland. State Patrol says Richards shot at Skylar Hain, who's on the left here, during a traffic stop. He was hit several times, but was able to drive himself to the hospital, and Hain is still in the hospital as of this morning. Meanwhile, Clark Tanan, seen there on the right, was shot while responding to that shooting. He suffered minor injuries and was released from the hospital on Tuesday. The shooting is still under investigation.
A wrongful death lawsuit has been filed against the company that operates the prison in Bent County. The lawsuit stems from attacks in June inside the prison that left 27-year-old Charles Gates and 59-year-old Michael Fisher dead. A third inmate was seriously injured. The facility is operated by Core Civic under contract with the Colorado Department of Corrections. The lawsuit filed by the mother of one of the men who died alleges the prison failed to protect the inmates and points to concerns about how the facility responded to the violence. In a statement, Core Civic wrote in part, quote, "We take all concerns regarding the care and treatment of those in our facilities seriously and review such matters through appropriate processes."
A new NTSB report is revealing more about the emergency evacuation of an American Airlines flight at the airport last summer. Yesterday, the agency released its final report about the July 2025 incident here. It says a safety valve on the flight melted during takeoff, releasing tire pressure. The tire and wheels eventually caught fire, forcing the crew to initiate that emergency evacuation. Now, according to the report, passengers started exiting the plane despite the captain telling them to remain seated, but there were no reported injuries among the 173 passengers and 6 crew members on board.
Questions remain for homeowners in Gilpin County one day after an Army helicopter made a hard landing near Golden Gate Canyon State Park. The Black Hawk went down on the east side of the Thorndon Mountain just off a homeowner's property line. All 4 soldiers aboard survived. However, the homeowner is now concerned over a reported fuel leak that occurred during the crash. The leak is near her and her neighbor's water source, and while she is grateful no one is hurt, she wants better communication from investigators.
No follow-up either about the fuel spill, where it's literally crashed above this creek right here that comes down to our well and our pond. They didn't have any proper spill containment or anything. They had a bucket.
In a statement, Gilpin County says the leak has been mitigated and it's working with state and federal officials for any testing that may be needed. The Army is leading the investigation.
Denver Water announced that sprinklers have to be turned off for the rest of the year by October 1st as the city remains under a stage 1 drought. After October 1st, people can only water trees and plants by hand. Denver Water says more needs to be done because right now, water restrictions simply aren't working well enough. The utility's water reserves stand at only 73%.
One of the reasons we took the action for October 1st is we need a little bit more savings. We're really trying to protect against what may happen next year. We don't know what the snow is going to look like, so we're really thinking about this drought in the long term and protecting our customers' investment in their landscape and the economy's investment in our communities.
Denver Water says it'll enforce the rules for watering after October 1st, just like they did this summer, with warnings and fines. Certain places like sports fields and parks can apply for exemptions. Denver Water says it'll decide whether to allow those exemptions on a case-by-case basis.
President Trump signed a proclamation aiming to lower ground beef prices by dramatically boosting imports from other countries. That's despite outrage from Republicans and allies in the beef industry, including here in Colorado. The Trump administration says it will allow around 300,000 metric tons of ground beef to be imported tariff-free for 3 months. Some ranchers in Colorado say the move could hurt U.S. cattle producers already facing drought, rising costs, and low herd numbers. The Colorado Livestock Association and Colorado Cattlemen's Association want more stability for producers. The groups are now asking the administration to work directly with ranchers.
We're always going to support free trade. We just want to make sure that our voices are represented at the table where these decisions are being made.
The tariffs are imported lean beef trimmings will be removed for 90 days. President Trump says the country supplying the beef will sell it at 25% below current market prices.
The Forest Service says it's going to shut down the Lake Irwin Campground near Crested Butte for a total reconstruction project. Many of the lake's facilities were built back in the 1960s, so they're going to be completely torn down. New ones are going to be built instead. The campground, they say, will be closed starting next month until sometime in 2028.
An update to breaking news we brought you yesterday morning. Meta has reached a landmark settlement with nearly every state in the country over claims its platforms harmed kids. The company behind Facebook and Instagram will pay more than $17 billion. 9 News reporter Courtney Yoon joins us live with more. And Courtney, the payout also comes with a long list of other changes Meta has to make.
Yes, that's right, Corey. The settlement would require Meta to limit children's screen time to 2 hours per day on Instagram and Facebook. There's also mandatory breaks built into this as well. And this is something, just a few of the things that many families have been asking for a long time who have lost children to suicide. Annalie Schott died by suicide at age 18 during her senior year in November 2020. Her mom, Lori, lives in northeastern Colorado. She says this settlement brings the accountability she and other parents have been demanding for years. The case resolves claims that Meta designed Instagram to be addictive and knowingly exposed children to mental health harms, according to the Colorado Attorney General's office. Besides screen time limits, Meta will also be required to block children's late-night access to the platforms, turn off push notifications during school hours, limit visible like counts and beauty filters, as well as strengthen safeguards against content promoting bullying, eating disorders, and self-harm.
It won't bring our kids back, but if we can protect other kids and change the trajectory of the power that these companies had and bring our children back into a more human world, we're going to keep telling that message because it happened to us because we didn't have the knowledge of how these platforms operated.
This agreement still needs court approval. Colorado would receive $615 million over 9 years. Individuals or families would not receive payouts. According to the Attorney General, he says the money will go towards programs protecting and improving the mental health and safety of Colorado children. Live in Denver, Courtney Yoon, 9 News.
All right, thank you, Courtney. Meanwhile, a discussion around Buc-ee's is happening in El Paso County later today. The Board of Commissioners will hear an appeal about a potential new location near County Line Road and I-25. This is over whether or not Buc-ee's qualifies as a gas station under the Land Development Code. The hearing will not determine if it's going to be built. Instead, it's just going to look at the land use question. Any future development would require county reviews and approval. Now, the county says public input will be allowed at the hearing. Residents can also submit written comments. They can attend the hearing in person, or they can speak during the public comment section.
Denver is looking to recognize more small businesses that have stood the test of time. The city's Legacy Business Program is now accepting applications from independent businesses that have been open for at least 10 years and have a Denver location. Designated businesses get marketing support, promotion, resources, and connections to other longstanding businesses. Applications are due September 25th at 5 p.m.
The second annual Highlands Summer Finale Art Festival is happening this coming weekend. So this event is centered all around fine art, jewelry, ceramics, woodwork, and more. The event is happening both Saturday and Sunday from 10 in the morning until 5 p.m. There will also be a drawing for a $1,000 festival shopping spree on Sunday. And oh, by the way, maybe I should have led with this, Katie. The event itself is free.
Sweet. Weather should cooperate. Sunday looks like a better chance for thunderstorms and getting some of these rain reports in this morning. We saw some good moisture yesterday. Southwest Denver coming in at more than 3/4 of an inch, and then over near Centennial, more than a half near Boulder, slightly less, but still wet weather that we saw with those slow moving thunderstorms that dumped some heavy rain at times. Today, we do have a 20% chance of thunderstorm coverage, a lot less in terms of wet weather that we're anticipating, some gusty winds at times. Heading into the weekend, warmer and drier. The heat is on. We're back to the 90s for Friday and Saturday. Brianna?
And we do have a crash that's causing some major roadblocks for anyone taking Santa Fe at County Line Road, not far from C470, so just north of C470. It looks like CDOT turned off that camera, so we can't see exactly that crash. You could see that it's loading right now. We do have crews there on scene, South Metro Fire, as well as the police department, and those two vehicles that are sitting on that middle of the intersection, that's where that crash happened. Once we have more information from crews, I will keep you guys updated.